hit him.
Touchdown, Deebo in the slot. This is my end zone. Give me everything you got. Defense, hit him with that Cosa Nostra. Quan Alexander, this dance, Nick both sides. 49er Empire, 49er Empire. This is for the fan base, die hard, set by. Stand up, 4-9 to the heart, J.E. Paul Lord back in Candlestick Park.
But when it comes down to it, who knows Deebo's body better than Deebo himself? So if he says that he can come back in 10 weeks, there's a good possibility he can. But if he can't, like Peter King also said, we got an easy beginning of the season where we could have someone else play. You know, we got Arizona and then the Jets and the Giants. You know, the person who can replace them, we drafted him in the first round this year. That's one of the reasons we did draft him, because he does have some people like quality.
True.
Are you listening? Damn.
Ronbo Sports here, representing the Niner Empire organization worldwide. Roll call them down. Australia, New Zealand, UK, Germany, France, South America, Mexico, and all across the USA, from the sparkling sands of Hawaii and the shimmering lights. My Hawaiian brothers, I hear from all the time. That's why I'm building them up even bigger today. What's happening to my brothers? Cali, all the way across to the East Coast, Virginia. Philly, where is Yamin? New Jersey, New York, and Dade County, Dade City. Omar, we need to know what's going on with you, man. Call in soon, please. Because, fam, you and I both know the sun never sets on the Niner Empire. Fam, hey, a little crazy today, you know, because we're walking around. Most of us have been walking around. If you can ignore it, you have it. But you got that rain cloud in the middle of summer, just following you around everywhere you go, dark and cloudy, wet. No! The season, it looks like it's about to happen in Santa Clara. I need to issue a public apology right now, and I want to apologize to the city of Santa Clara. Yeah, I was wrong. You see, because I was under the belief that Santa Clara was going to be playing hard-nosed, and no matter what the 49ers, all the things are in place. And I understand COVID-19 is a very serious matter. I do. Yeah. Okay. But if there's precautions being taken, okay, how come we can't do this? So Santa Clara said, fine. They've been working with the 49ers the whole time. Yeah, they have. The 49ers, after the NFLPA came in with the protocols and health and safety things they had in mind, and the Santa Clara city officials looked at it and he says, we can accept this. Hey, red and gold. Get busy, get to work, go get them. You got the green light. Bring that Super Bowl back. Yes. So the guys are gonna get in camp. They're coming in now. And also, by the 28th, everybody be in camp and we're ready to roll. Yeah, just like that. See, and the thing is, I understand for the first 20 days, there's gonna be, I don't know if they mean by 20 days or 20 practices. I guess it means 20 practices, right? It would be nice until 20 days. That means the days off count too. No pads, okay? See, because my feeling is the sooner you hit each other, the better. But again, also you got to be careful about coming in and banging right away because you're not used to that kind of contact. And guys don't know how to hit half speed. No matter what anybody says, they may be pulling up on hits out there, but they're not pulling up enough that it's just completely safe, right? So they're not going to be doing that for the first 20 days. Now, that runs out the entire month of August. Training camp will get started early in August, and I imagine they mean right from the first week. The season gets underway on September 13th, so that doesn't give them a lot of time to bang around and get used to contact and, learn how to take angles and do all the things you got to do. Tackling is going to be very important, Because see, my thing is, this is fine. Let's get that started because, no matter what, just let's get the season going. And maybe it starts off a little sloppy, but that's fine. We just want to get the games underway, and by 3 weeks into the season, we'll probably look normal, right? They didn't say anything yet about fans. There's been no rule, though, one way or the other, whether fans are going to be allowed to come into the stadium or not. If they do come in, they've already stipulated there will be mask wearing, and that will be That will be something that just can't, you got to do it. That's all there is to it. So how do you yell with a mask on? They'll figure these things out. They got a lot of things to figure out as far as letting fans in the stands, but that's subject we can talk about later. Biggest concern right now with me is I'm concerned about our first round draft picks. Javon Kinlaw and Brandon Ayuk, and I say that because I figure they're going to play a very large role in the 49ers right from the beginning, because Javon is replacing DeForest Buckner. Sanders is being replaced by Ayuk, basically, and just on paper, that's the way it looks like. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's the way it's going to work, but I'm just saying the guys we brought in to replace, they need to play a part in this because the guys they replaced played a huge role, right? So I'm looking at Javon Kinlaw, and like I posted up, I says, boy, I tell you what, one thing I'm not worried about is Javon Kinlaw. If anything, be concerned about the opposition and what they try to do to stop Javon Kinlaw. Now that's going to be funny to watch. I already know that. Because if they think they're going to hit Javon Kinlaw with one dude and stop him, we are going to enjoy that game, aren't we? Brandon Ayuk is another story, though. He has got some very complicated things he's got to get down pat. Here's what I don't want from either player. Javon Kinlaw, for instance, don't go in there thinking you need to be DeForest Buckner. Don't get on yourself. All you need to do, and coaches got to get with him. I'm sure they're going to do this to him right off. Javon, listen, don't worry about anything other than just being Javon Kinlaw. That's why we drafted you. That's why you're going to come in. You're going to do a great job because you're a first-round pick. Keep that in mind. You're a stud, okay? Of course, maybe you don't want to mention too much about what round and what position in the draft he was picked, because that'll put pressure on him too. I just want to come in and relax and just be Javon Kinlaw. Kill people in the way and get the quarterback or whatever else is going on. Just do what you do. But Ayuk, as I say, he's got another thing to do. He's got a complicated playbook that he's never seen before, verbiage and stuff like that. But they've been working on this stuff for months, I guess. So this should probably be not such a difficult thing. It's about timing. Any offense, everything's about timing. Jimmy's got to be able to hit those guys in stride. If we got plays where timing routes and all those things, they've got to be done right, and it takes a little while to get that down. In spite of what people think, that everybody should just go out there and do the job and look perfect right from the beginning. It's not going to be that way. But that's okay, because a lot of teams aren't going to be that way, including us. But we have a leg up on them because we have a nucleus of players that could come in, even if Ayuk's not ready. That'll be okay, because you still got KB, you got Trent Taylor, you got, and I wish we had Jalen Hurd. I'm not sure what he's going to look like. He didn't get enough time in last year, but you got Trent Taylor, and you got KB, as I mentioned, and you're waiting for me to say it, aren't you? I'm going to say it. You got Dante Pettis. Richie James, I don't know what they're going to do if he makes the cut or not, but we got players that can come in and get it done. In the beginning, and then I want to see Ayuk, because Ayuk is like something that's going to put the 49ers over the top. Because remember, in Kyle Shanahan's system, you don't necessarily have to look at the player as his individual talent so much as you do his ability to follow the instruction, get his routes right, and do the things he's got to do. George Kittle's there to make sure that everything goes right no matter what in the passing game, all right? So, yeah, in the run game, man, last thing I'm worried about is that run game. I just want to, if we got enough time to get the 49ers looking like the 49ers that won the NFC, as soon as that is clear, then you can relax. Oh, and speaking of wide receivers, what made Peter King come out of nowhere and just pour some water on the smoke of Deebo as he's out there trying to get himself ready? Because Deebo already said, I'll be back for opening day. That's September 13th, right? So Peter King, who's going by nothing more than the information that's already been put out there, because Deebo had his procedure done in June. Peter King said 12 to 16 weeks. Okay, so that means he's not going to be back until October. And Deebo's sitting there reading that as he's opened up his phone or wherever he gets his information from. What? Oh, and he pretty much said, dude does not know what he's talking about. I'll be ready. Man, that dude is getting work done here. And so Deebo is still working toward getting back. We don't know what his foot is like. We go by what happened to Trent Taylor. But that may be just a little misleading. Why? Because Trent Taylor, it wasn't so much about the foot healing up as it was the infections that took place. And had to keep going back in there when that's a setback, right? So I'm gonna believe in Deebo, as you knew I would, right? I'm gonna believe Deebo's gonna make it back. Yeah, if he says so, he's gonna do it. I don't know if Kyle should rush him right back onto the field as soon as he gets back, if he's not ready, if he doesn't get any training in, because he needs to be back by September 1st if he's going to play on September 13th, as far as I'm concerned. If he's not, If he comes back in the second week of September and he's ready to roll, Deebo, I know you want to play, okay? Calm it down, man. You're going to get plenty of snaps. You know this. You are going to play in week 2. Work hard, and you're going to play in week 2. From that point, it's your game from that point on. You got to tell him right up front so he doesn't do something crazy and stupid and try to rush himself back too fast. That's just the way. You know what I want to know? I want to know your feeling on Deebo and some other things we need to talk about today as far as the 49ers go. God, we're getting back into camp. That's the thing. Hey, you're going to love it. Find out how Crusty Pants, put that camera, train it down on the Valley of the Sun. It's Crusty Pants out in AZ. Crusty, hey, get to the camp. Not a fam. You've heard him call into the program, and I'm always amused when Crusty calls in. His full handle on, when I watch the chat, it says Crusty Pants, which I was always amused by the name, period. And here is Crusty Pants. Crusty, hello.
Hey, Ronbo, how's it going?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's going to get better, too. But, Crusty, we got to know, man, because I actually was passing out theories as to what Crusty Pants was, because going back to my days as a toddler, I remember I kept a pair of Crusty Pants on all the time. I was trying to figure out, now, where in the world did Crusty get a name like Crusty Pants? Where's that name originate?
In all honesty, that's my gamer tag for Xbox. So it just on and it stuck. So that's what I always play. My gamer tag's Mr. Crusty Pants 86 on Xbox. So I just went. It's been Crusty stuck, and I just like, I'll just get rid of the Mr. and the 86, and I go by Crusty Pants for all my social media. Well, this is my social media. So.
There you go. The story behind the name, Crusty Pants. Crusty, let's get right down to business, man. Here's the thing. And it bothers me. Even when Deebo first got hurt, I was already like I already hit the floor. Now Peter King is coming out and saying, and he's going by the time I had 12 to 16 weeks is what this injury was predicted to take to heal up. So now Deebo, Peter King is still pushing that narrative, saying Deebo won't be back until October. And Deebo actually fired back and said he doesn't know what he's talking about. I'll be back in 10 weeks. Rusty, here's the thing. What everybody has to consider right now, and in case Deebo does fall short of his goal of making it back on time, I wonder, Shanahan being the guy he is, does he relocate some of the things or assignments he may have had for Deebo to somebody else? Or does he just go ahead and do the Shanahan, readjust his offense to work with what he's got? Which direction do you think he's going to take on that?
Well, I think that Peter King had some valid points in the things that he was saying about Deebo. Yeah. Because, Trent Taylor did have the same injury last year and he was out all year long. Oh. I hope that the surgeon that Trent Taylor used did not work on Deebo too, so we don't have the same issue.
That's a good point.
But, it comes back to the fact that he does have valid points. That's normally how long something like that takes. But when it comes down to it, who knows Deebo's body better than Deebo himself? So if he says that he can come back in 10 weeks, there's a good possibility he can. But if he can't, like Peter King also said, we got an easy beginning of the season where we could have someone else play. We got Arizona and then the Jets and the Giants. The person who can replace them, we drafted him in the first round this year. That's one of the reasons we did draft him, because he does have some people like quality.
True.
So he can't run it, he can catch it, and then even then, Jalen Hurts could be a possibility too. So I don't think Deebo out could hurt us, but I do feel optimistic since Deebo feels like he can be back in 10 weeks, that he will be back in 10 weeks.
I agree. Do you think, though, you mentioned Brandon Ayuk, is Ayuk, are you going to believe and trust that he's going to be all right from day one? Because we've not had the preseason we need to have. We've not gone through some of the things he needs to go through. He's been training hard, though, from the film and footage I've seen being passed around the internet, that he has been working hard, and he's familiar with Jimmy, and that could be a huge plus. And somebody said Kyle Shanahan's running a covert mission here. It's been illegal for coaches to collaborate with any of the players during a certain stretch of time, right? I have a feeling, though, that Kyle has been instructing Kendrick on what they should be doing during the course of these training sessions. Because Kendrick's out there running around, and I give Kendrick all the credit in the world. He's a brilliant guy, but he's out there running practice like a coach. I said, where did Kendrick pick up that skill set? I mean, he looks good out there, criticizing and telling what they should and shouldn't do. I mean, what do you think about that?
Kendrick probably honestly picked that up from Emmanuel Sanders last year.
Yeah.
That's probably the one of the reasons why when Emmanuel came in, the wide receivers, the whole room just got better.
Lit up.
You know, you can tell it. So he's probably taking the tips that he learned from Emmanuel Sanders and spreading it on. And that's a good quality that he's doing. And he has been working hard. He really has. And I see there's a possibility he might do more for us this year. But like I was saying before, too, there's a possibility that if everything happens the way that it's going to happen, that we think it is, he might become tradable.
Yeah.
I don't want to see him traded, but it could be a possibility because if we can get a 4th or 5th round pick, Kendrick Bourne, and Jalen Hurd becomes what he is, and Trent Taylor and George Kittle and everything, and it just be like, well, you know, are we going to sign him next year? That's the question. Even if we do, are we going to sign him? You know, they did a 1-year tender for him.
Mm-hmm.
So we might get some draft capital back from him if we trade him.
That's right. Well,
like
and like you say, that's an attractive expiring contract, which always turns anybody on that's making the deal. Because even if and his salary is very friendly, you got a good point. It is a possibility. The 49ers, they've already demonstrated they don't shy away from any kind of a thing they can get a gain from. So yeah, that could be one of the things they do. We got so many guys. Juice is also, you got countless guys that could grab. Juice could actually bring back a 2nd round pick. I actually do believe that. His contract expires this year. Mosley, all of a sudden, there's a lot of guys down there. But if draft capital is what we're talking about needing, the 49ers do now have the assets to deal Kwaski T. It goes on and on. So yeah. But here's the thing, Crusty. The 2020 season it's very bizarre the way it's starting off. Nothing's falling into place like it needs to. We've got talented rookies. I wish Javon Kinlaw could have got out there and got some more instruction. You mentioned Brandon Ayuk. These guys, I want to see what Jawan Jennings looks like. I want to know if Warner is going to be a tight end that we can look forward to. There's so many questions we're not going to get answered because of the way this preseason is going on. The thing is, the 49ers are men on a mission after having failed in the Super Bowl. Are they going to remain unflappable even though things are a little weird? Are they mature enough now? Is Kyle Shanahan's leadership going to be enough to get us through this first few weeks? Because we're talking about how easy the first couple of games are. No games are going to be easy for the first 2 weeks. And somebody's already predicted there'll be a lot of high scoring due to the fact that defenses are not going to be quite ready for primetime efforts just yet. Are we going to be okay?
We're in prime position here. We lost a few players. We still have our Super Bowl team pretty much intact from last year. So the no preseason is not going to hurt us as much as it's going to hurt a lot of other teams. Because we have, 5 rookies and then a couple, 10 undrafted free agents.
Yeah.
But everybody else was on the team last year. Everybody else already knows what they're doing. Everybody else is ready to go. I was reading today, actually. George Kittle was talking about his sessions up there with Jimmy G and everybody else. He said that he was actually impressed with how everybody came in. They came in like they were already through OTA. Because normally they come into OTAs looking rusty for the first, phase 1 and phase 2. He said they were sliding around, they were running crisp routes, they were doing everything. He was very impressed. He said they're ready. He's excited for the season already. He talked about the tight ends. He said he's seen Helm and Warner, their workouts and stuff, and he's impressed. He says they're doing it the right way. He's talking about our offense he thinks is going to be awesome. You mentioned Kyle Juszczyk too. He's going to be out there friggin' doing the stuff that he does. And our running backs do what they're going to do. And, the only thing that's hurting us is it's going to be our undrafted free agents and our rookies, which we don't have very many of them. So I don't think it's really going to phase us as much as it is a bunch of other teams.
And you're so right, because we do have a step up on people. As I mentioned, Javon Kinlaw and our first round draft picks are the only ones I'm concerned with because they are of a talent. They need to be out there, Crusty. But I want them to be out there with no fear. I want them to be comfortable and get out there and do what they do. Because you get your best performance from them if they're feeling relaxed out there. If they're worried about what they're supposed to be, where my spot, and where am I supposed to be, my timing's off. Man, I let Jimmy down. It gets into his head that he screwed up. But then again, the coach is supposed to prepare these guys mentally and physically, so maybe that won't be a factor. Kinlaw, I just think is going to be a monster anyway. Teams are going to make a mistake in the beginning, probably. It's just my prediction now. They're probably going to say we're going to deal with Kinlaw as he is a rookie. We're going to make it mainly focus our attention on that offensive line. You got to stop Eric Armstead. For the love of God, do the best you can with Bosa coming off that other side, because that's going to be, those two guys alone are already bad news. If Kinlaw is going to be anything like he's advertised to be, there's just no way the defense is going to get off as far as doing some of the things they want to do. So yeah, I fully agree with that. Because what do you expect from Kinlaw as far as, because you've already got expectations of IU. What do you think about Kinlaw?
Kinlaw's going to be a wrecking ball. Like I was saying before on the show, they had to double team and triple team this guy in college. And they even said Baldinger or one of them was saying that.
It was Baldinger, yeah.
Double team this guy. No, he doesn't think one single person will be able to hold that man down. So they're going to learn that quickly when they try and do it. And I think Kinlaw is going to be a wrecking ball running straight through that offensive line. He could be like Aaron Donald, rushing straight through, and they won't be able to hold him down. You didn't even mention D Ford.
I was about to. You go ahead.
And you got the speed of D Ford off the side, a fresh D Ford. How are they going to stop him? He's going to come around. Our defensive line is going to be amazing.
Oh, God. And the
I think it's going to be like everybody else. It's going to be better than last.
And the rotation, too. Crusty, some of those guys are coming back healthy. I don't know exactly, because they're not giving you up-to-the-minute reports on Ronnie Blair. But if Ronnie Blair is coming in there spelling people, no matter where they put him in, edge, interior, he gets it done. There's no real let-up. It's just a slight let-up because his talent probably isn't up with the first stringers, but he just comes in and does a job. I'm thinking Julian Taylor is probably not going to make it. I want him in the middle when DJ Jones is not plugging up that middle, because we can stop the run game with DJ Jones in there, and as well with Julian Taylor. Those guys are really, they're like fire hydrants in the middle of that line. I just think that we got another guy coming up also from the practice squad. I've got a lot of feeling on Kevin. Is
it Kevin Givens?
Givens.
Is that what?
I'm a huge Givens fan. I've been a Givens fan since last year. So we got three potential guys that can deal with the middle, because the run game is where people think they're going to strike us this year. Why, I don't know. But people think they can run against the 49ers, and they'll have better success with that than trying to pass on them through the effectiveness of that defensive front. But yeah, I love the rotation.
Oh, so do I.
Oh.
Can you imagine if, like, Kinlaw goes out, DJ Jones comes in, you got two wrecking balls in the center that they're always fresh, pushing straight up the middle of the line, or even if they're lined up next to each other.
Oh, yeah.
What are you going to do then?
And you're keeping these guys fresh. But yeah, I fully agree. And here's the thing, since we're talking about premier players, there's going to be, every year there's that guy that comes out. Last year, I think it might have been Mosley. You saw Mostert. Mostert was we could actually see him coming last year. Dre Green. What do I say? Dre Greenlaw has got to be the shocking surprise of the year. But this year, who will emerge as that guy that flew under the radar?
I've been talking about him almost every time I get on the show. I think Charlie Warner is going to be the guy that comes out, and he's going to be flying under the radar. I read something about what Kyle Shanahan was saying about him, and he was talking about how he's going to be a good blocking tight end, but he mentioned at the same time that he didn't draft him to be a blocking tight end. If he wanted someone who could block, he would have drafted another offensive lineman. He expects Charlie Warner to be a dual threat. And from everything that I've seen about Charlie Warner, I've read about his college career. I've read about his high school career, which is amazing. He had 60 touchdowns, 28 receiving, 32 rushing. He also played safety on the defense, getting over 100 tackles a season too. So this guy could come in now on special teams. He could be taking the tight end 2 spot from Ross Dwelly. He'll be shoring up the side because he brought him in to relieve some pressure off of George Kittle.
Right.
His high school coach, I read, says he thinks that he could be the next Rob Gronkowski.
Who? Oh!
He thinks he's Rob Gronkowski type skill set. I was reading other things. They compared him to other guys. Zach Ertz was the person they compared him to. They said it's a long shot, but he's comparable. The only thing that they complain about him is they say his arms are about 1.5 inches shorter than other people. But he'll sit there and he'll fight that tooth and nail. So I feel Charlie Warner is going to come in And he's going to surprise people because Shanahan likes to hide things.
Yep. That's
so
it.
Don Litz. That's the draft, for example. He's not going to tell us what he's going to use Charlie Warner for. We're going to find out. And we'll probably find out the good way. I really think he can come in.
As we did with George Kittle. And George Kittle's a shock. George was brought in because they weren't even looking at George Kittle. He came in to see C.J. Beathard. And then one of the coaches says, who's that kid out there making those receptions? That's George Kittle. Okay. And I understand they kept it quiet, didn't say anything, but from that moment on, they'd already decided to pick up George Kittle in the draft, right? These are those amazing stories that are made for movies, He wasn't even the intention when they came to Iowa. They were looking at CJ, but George Kittle was out there. Everybody's going after a move tight end. Remember that year? You got the guy who went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which how did the Bucs pick him up? To find out, none of them were better than George Kittle. In Kittle's rookie year, he wasn't all that fantastic, but he showed a lot of flashes. He got hurt a few times. It may have taken him down a notch. And then, of course, the story in the second year. But this story about Warner, it smacks of something that happened in the past, only 2-3 years ago. So I'm trying to enjoy that. I hope so.
Right. Well, his college quarterback came out, Jake Fromm, and said that Charlie Warner is more than capable of catching, running, and everything. He said he's an amazing blocker, and that's all. He did that because that's what their offense went off of. Georgia's a run team, and he learned how, because he didn't go into college knowing how to block. He went into the college as a wide receiver, running back hybrid. Mm-hmm. He could play H-back, everything. I think he could, if Juice gets hurt or run in for Juice, back up Juice as well as playing tight end as well. So the quarterback's saying that he's more than capable. Mm-hmm. They say he has soft hands. You watch the high school reels of his highlights and everything. The guy's got wiggle. People hit him, bounce off of him. He keeps going. No, it just seemed like he was a monster. No one was able to stop him. So,
God, I love it. And you always know the 49ers now, when they go out and pick up players, it's not the first round pick. The first round pick is pretty obvious usually due to the fact that he's been exposed and advertised to such a high level. But it's those other players where the scouts really earn their money. And Charlie Warner, he could be that kind of guy because he's going to come in at a particular point when he was picked up in the draft. I think those guys always come in with something to prove. So they're a little more motivated than your regular guys up in the top of the draft. So I'm looking forward to what he does too. And from I've been watching and checking, seeing all these notes that you mentioned, I've ran across those, and that he was a wide receiver, and people always were marveling at the fact that he had the production that he had in high school, right? And it was like unbelievable. I said, come on, they're not going to make this stuff up. I think he really was that good. I mean, maybe he was at one of those schools where he was like the top man on the campus, and he got a lot of receptions, but still in all, he still had to work against some competition to get that done. So I like Charlie Warner, and I think your choice is brilliant. He could be the guy. It just depends on how many times Kyle utilizes him, because Ross Dwelly's still got to be moved out of the way because he's got the expertise. He knows the offense from like the back of his hand. He's got to go out there, Warner's going to have to go out there and have to do things on a limited basis to show the coaching staff that he is the most talented between the two of those. Because I figure it's between Warner and Dwelly anyway, as far as that goes, as far as playing time goes.
Right. They did mention his route running isn't that great either. But who does he have to learn from? He has the best tight end of football and is, the leader of his room. So he's excited to work with George Kittle. And he also said that he's going to do whatever Kyle Shanahan asks him to do. So if he's asked to block, he'll block. If he's asked to catch, he'll catch. He can run it out of the backfield too. So this guy, I think, is going to be one of the most amazing rookies that we have this year. And, like you said about George Kittle, we didn't really see much from him the first year we saw flash.
Yeah.
Maybe it's next year that it comes out after he gets, because no preseason is going to hurt him a little bit. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing that I'm worried about when it comes to this. But I really feel Charlie Warner is going to be the person that it's going to be like Aaron Hernandez and Rob Gronkowski in the Patriots.
That's what everybody's dreaming for, because that's why everybody keeps looking around for free agents and trying to bring them in to pair them up with George. But we could already have them in camp. And that would be a shame if we went out and paid a lot of money for a guy that Warner could do a just as good a job or even better. Because our coaching staff, I don't know what they do to those guys, but we don't have any really poor, well, we got players that could improve, but most of our guys, they're all up to really a level that you just can't imagine how well the coaching staff is doing with those guys. Because when I look around at the defensive line, Kasurik, this guy's an awesome coach. At the point, if he ever decides to leave, it's going to freak people out. I'm thinking Robert Saleh is going to get offers at the end of this year if we do well. Do you think Kasurik, is he the kind of a guy? Robert Saleh is a real cerebral guy, too. I don't know enough about Kasurik other than the fact that he can drive a defensive line into the best it can be. Would you vault Kasurik? I just, as a head coach, just to keep him around. But then again, you take him out of position to work with a little defensive lineman, though. Right. What would you do about that situation? We can't let him go, though.
I wouldn't let Kasurik go. I honestly don't think that he would be the defensive coordinator that we would choose. Yeah. My honest opinion. I think that the Atlanta Falcons are going to suck this year, and Dan Quinn's going to get fired, and we're going to hire him as our defensive coach to salvage it.
You're echoing my sentiments. I agree. I didn't want to wish anything bad on Dan Quinn, but I said Dan Quinn would be the ideal replacement because if Robert leaves, we don't lose a step. Saleh learned from Quinn. Although the thing is, Saleh has altered the concepts a little bit toward more his thinking. But Quinn would still come in and do a job with the defense. I just know it. And then you keep Kasurik, and we keep going.
I agree. It wouldn't be that much wouldn't be that much learning for the defense. It'll be a pretty quick move over to that. Mm-hmm. But I think he would be the perfect defensive coordinator, and Dan Quinn's been on the hot seat for a couple of years now. So it would be ironic to have him working under Kyle Shanahan now. It would be good.
That's what I think. Would he accept it though? That's the only thing. I guess he's been a head coach now for 2 years. I think he left the Hawks because he wanted to. He had aspirations of moving up. His ambitions are pretty high. So Dan Quinn is probably thinking somebody else will call him as a head coach. But if not, and I think they might not because he's fresh off of getting beat with a roster that had no business getting big. Maybe he won't get that job as easy as he thinks. And of course, Kyle reaches out to him and says, why not? You guys are probably on your way to the Super Bowl anyway. I may as well be a part of that. So yeah, Right. Crusty and I, we got it figured out. Crusty and I, we're hiring Dan Quinn.
Right, with a defense like ours, how could he say no?
Right? That's got to be a dream come true for any coach. Right? God, I agree. Hey, Crusty, there you go. Crusty, great stuff, man. I tell you what, I'll let you go. And Crusty, before we do though, I got to give me the holler, Crusty, on my count. 3, 2, 1.
Niners!
Thank you, Crusty P. I'm going to give him a new name, man. It's going to be Crusty P. I shortened everybody's name. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and move on and see you probably real soon. Starting next few days, we're probably going to have all kind of fun time live meetings. So, get ready for that because I know there's going to be all kinds of stuff coming out of camp. God, that rain cloud is starting to disappear from over my head. I'm just sick of it following me around. Football, it looks like it's about to happen. Yes! Fam, don't forget to hit that like, and I'll see you shortly. Count me down.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never make me sacred stone.
Oh, this is crazy mother.